Hello, Year 9. Today we are looking at Grimm's Tales. Now, Tuesday we looked at Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe, and yesterday you should have looked at Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. Now, both of those poems obviously have Gothic elements, however, they do follow a sort of tone that links quite closely to a fairy tale aspect. So we're going to look into that a little bit more today. As a starting point, please can you actually look up who the Grimm brothers were and why they were so famous? Here's a quick quiz. Where were the brothers Grimm born? Which year did they publish their first volume of fairy tales in? This is really important so that you can see the evolution of fairy tales. And a lot of people jump to sort of thinking about Disney, but actually they did start to be quite Gothic, and they've sort of become more child-friendly as the years have gone by. What are these stories called in English? I'm not even going to try to pronounce them, but do have a little Google research. What is the word for fairy tales in German? Now, as I said, we've looked at Annabel Lee and Jabberwocky, and they both had Gothic elements. Just to recap and reflect, you might want to write down why they were Gothic. See if you can also jot down what the plot was of each poem. On Show My Homework, I have attached a version of Cinderella, which was written by the Grimm brothers. It is quite similar to the fairy tale you probably all know, especially the beginning and middle. However, the ending is very disturbing. It creates quite vivid imagery, and there is sort of a moral to the story. So please do read the story. It is about 7 pages long. Don't panic, it won't take you too long. And then I would like you to just write a really short review, literally a couple of sentences. Do you prefer this version? Why? Would you read the ending to a 4-year-old? Could you imagine them responding to it in the same way that they might the Disney version? As your task for today, I would like you to choose another well-known fairy tale. So choosing a classic would probably be easiest. Many authors have transformed children's fairy tales into Gothic pieces of writing. Angela Carter became famous for this, although hers are very disturbing and very Gothic. So you might want to save those for when you're a little bit older. However, there are lots of Gothic writers out there who have chosen to transform these fairy tales to make them more engaging perhaps and less stereotypical. So your task is, once you've chosen your fairy tale, say for example Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel, Snow White, I would like you to make it Gothic. Please look at the following slide for some guidance, some top tips over the things we've looked at in the last couple of weeks. Pathetic fallacy, so using setting, weather to create that initial mood is really, really important. Secondly, you're going to want to create a beast or monster, so you could transform the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood into something more extreme. You also must have a problem in your story. It will not be engaging or tense if there is no problem. Add detail to your description, so use massive hop. If you don't know what this stands for, I will tell you now. So it's metaphor, alliteration, similes, senses, so that's taste, touch, sound, sight and smell, imagery, vocabulary, use synonyms on your laptop or grab a thesaurus. E is for emotive language. This is words that create some sort of emotion, fear, love, adoration. H is for hyperbole, so when you're making something really dramatic. O is for onomatopoeia. That's when an action sounds like the word, so bang, snap, crackle, pop. P is for pathetic fallacy, as I mentioned earlier, and the other P is for personification. That's giving everyday objects human qualities. So the pen danced across the page. The tree waved at me from a distance, that sort of thing. And we've been really focusing on using present participles to vary our sentence starters, so please do use those. Finally, make sure you plan your work. You must know where you are heading. If you don't, you will lose focus and your story will then lose tension and your reader won't be as engaged. So please do plan. Equally, we are making these lessons and we really want you to do the work and we really want to see the work. So please send it in to us. We are missing you. We are missing the work that you produce, and it would be good for you to get some feedback. Take care.